Wow. This all is kind of dovetailing. About 9 months ago, I've been doing this stuff for 2 or 3 years. About 9 months ago, a friend had me over, a producer friend, and just at random, she wanted to do, and I hate this word, but Ouiji. And we started, so for once a week for 9 weeks, we've been doing contacting spirits. And I had no opinion on it. And it's been very profound, and relatives, and with the internet now, you get, all this information was coming through from, soldiers that have died the week before in Iraq to famous actors, just incredible people. Jane Roberts came through with all kinds of stuff.
What'd she say?
Basically everything you say. That time, I wish I had the notes, but basically that time is a construct, and that there is no, that evil is something that we've made up, and you get what you think about, and it's all stuff similar to what her writings are, and it's all very profound, and it's interesting because the 3 or 4 people that I've done this with. One of them is slightly aware of this, of Abraham, and the others just have no clue. And so everybody's coming from it from a different place. And one person wants to do a reality series on it. And we've actually filmed some of them, but then a couple of weeks ago they stopped coming, or it just seemed... But, you kind of answered that, about getting into the vortex. Because my thing was, I wanted to know, how can I make my life better? Or what should I do? That was one of my questions. And one of the answers was, my friend's 5-year-old brother is just so wise. He died in the 30s. And he said, it's your life, live it. And I guess my... question, besides how profound this all is, and we've had witnesses, because it seems so fantastical. I've always believed in this, that there is no separation. And but my question is, how can I take this, and I think you've answered some of this, and it's just by getting into the vortex, but what is the meaning of this?
Well, look at it.
And why did it stop?
Look at it this way.
Yeah.
It stopped because the clarity of your question ceased to be.
Yeah.
It stopped because there was not much clarity that began it, and not enough clarity to keep it going. And as it came, your observation of it caused so much contradictory energy within you that you became singularly participating, and there wasn't enough energy to continue the summoning of it.
Yeah.
That's the precise reason that it stopped. But there's so much more that we want to give to you, because we began this gathering today talking about all of the thoughts that you could think, and what we were really talking about are all of the things that you all could observe as you are living in your environment here today. In other words, if you live in this nation, there are a handful of political choices, but not that many, and there are socioeconomic choices that with some variation. In other words, there is a lot of detail from which to choose. And we talked about the chaotic potential of trying to consider from too many viewpoints all at once, and instead of establishing a point of attraction that you understand, that is measurable, that you can enjoy as it evolves, instead you've just got a sort of vibrational chaos going on, getting a little bit of everything and none of it being very satisfying. And you took that to a whole new level.
Yeah.
In other words, instead of just observing what's happening on your physical plane, now through the game, the frivolous game of the Ouija board, you began observing beyond and beyond and beyond. Do you understand that every thought that has ever been thought still exists?
Yes.
And that law of attraction gathers those thoughts. So when you tap into something that you assume is someone living in a past life, and they're talking to you about the details of their physical past life, you've tapped into the thought form that surrounded them while they were living, and that may even be still there even though they're gone. Especially, it's why they're famous. In other words, more people that think about it, it causes this gestalt of thought to continue on and to be added to. As Esther began her interaction with us, and she began to realize that she was picking up on things that were beyond what was physical, and certainly her experience in receiving Abraham, she's getting whole blocks of thought that she knows she had no physical conscious connection to. So she began realizing that there are all kinds of things that she could tap into. The question is, do you want to? The question, in other words, we want you to understand that you are an extension of source energy, and that you've come here to take this arena that surrounds you and to focus it into something that is meaningful for you, which means life poses questions within you to which the answers are readily available. That really is the way that we would approach this business of asking and receiving. Is to understand that whatever you ask for, you will receive. But understand that you don't ask with your words, you ask with your vibration. And until you have some way of controlling your vibrational asking, you cannot control the vibrational answering. No one ever sits down and puts out a legitimate, deliberate request for cancer. No one ever does that. No one has ever done that. Not one time ever did someone say, I think I will dabble in that just to see what it's like. No one's doing that. And yet millions of people have and are and will experience this ravaging of their physical body, not because they are choosing it deliberately, but because they are choosing it with their sloppy thinking. You see. So our encouragement is that in other words, we're not opening the door to you to endless conversations with endless non-physical energies. We don't have to open that door to you. That door has always been open. Anything that you find vibrational alignment with will reveal itself to you in a myriad of ways, you see. And much of that stuff has been translated into movies that is entertaining to a lot of people, and a lot of it is helpful and a lot of it is not helpful. As an individual, you just have to decide who you are and what it is that you are wanting. Jerry had some experience with the Ouija board, and years later he is asking us, because sometimes it was gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Sometimes it was Albert Einstein. Sometimes it was Albert Schweitzer. In other words, and he wanted to know why. This Ouija board seems to be like a doorway to, and we said, but consider the different people that you sat with the Ouija board, because he carried it around for years, like you, wanting to know what it was a doorway to. And the majority of people, it wouldn't work for them at all. It wouldn't work for Jerry. It always took someone else that had some sort of energy stream going before the thing would begin to move at all. Right. And when we asked him the question, because there were only a handful of people that it worked for, when we were able to help him to understand that the different energy that was summoned had to do with the other person who was on the board. It was their point of asking that equals that, you see. Yes. So we're not trying to guide you away from that particular method of receiving. We are, however, wanting you to understand that you have access to whatever you are asking for, and that to have a really satisfying answer, you must have a rather detailed question. And if your question is just generally, what's out there and what do you have to say to me? That doesn't go very far, very long, you see.